Well, he might have reworked it, but the US President Donald Trump is already facing legal challenges to his revised executive order banning immigrants from 6 mostly Muslim nations. The new order includes changes that are designed to hold up in court after the first ban sparked chaos and was ultimately suspended by judges. But already human rights groups and at least 2 states are considering similar court challenges to overturn the second ban. Anne Barker reports.
The Trump administration has gone to lengths to ensure its immigration ban Mark II succeeds where Mark I didn't. Unlike the first ban, which caused instant chaos and confusion across the country, the second order won't take effect for 10 days, presumably to allow any glitches or legal questions to be ironed out first. Refugees already in transit and people with visas or green cards won't be stopped. And removing Iraq from the list of countries banned from entry to the US will make the executive order slightly more acceptable to some critics. But at least one constitutional expert, Professor Jonathan Turley at George Washington University, believes the ban is still vulnerable to legal challenge.
In fact, it's the same grounds that they had before. It's just going to be more difficult. None of this means that courts couldn't strike this down or issue a restraining order.
Indeed, New York and Washington states, which challenged the first ban, are now scrutinising the latest executive order to see what grounds they have to launch another appeal. And the American Civil Liberties Union says it's already preparing a legal challenge to block the order from taking effect.
There's less urgency than there was the first time around, where it kicked in immediately and people were stranded at the airports. But I suspect we'll move fairly quickly because we don't want the second executive order to go into effect.
Lee Gelernt, Deputy Director of the ACLU's Immigrants' Rights Project, says ultimately the new ban still discriminates on the basis of religion.
What is essentially going on is a ban against Muslims. The fact that they've tweaked the order does not eliminate that taint. The courts have made clear you must look outside of the 4 corners of a document, at context, at statements. That's what we're going to do. That's what the courts have said they're going to do. And we feel like once they do that, it'll be clear that this is a Muslim ban, as the president made clear himself before the first executive order was issued.
But other legal experts believe the new ban will stand up to a legal challenge. A former Justice Department official, Douglas Kmiec, says the executive order appears to address the concerns raised by judges who suspended the first ban. Another former Homeland Security official under Barack Obama says the new ban affects fewer people and people with fewer ties to the US, meaning judicial intervention will be harder. John Yoo, who worked in the Justice Department under President George W. Bush, says the new ban now affects only aliens outside the US who have no legal standing in court. And Donald Trump's Homeland Security Secretary John Kelly has also knocked back claims the ban unlawfully discriminates on the grounds of religion. On CNN, he said the ban targeted countries identified as a source of terrorism.
There are 1.7 billion Muslims on the planet. There are something on the order of 51 overwhelmingly Muslim countries. We had 7, now 6, to the tune of maybe a couple of 100 million predominantly Muslims that were put on the list. And it's a pause as we look at ways that we can better vet these countries.
John Kelly has also confirmed he's considering another controversial policy change to separate children from their parents if they're caught entering illegally from Mexico.
We have tremendous experience in dealing with unaccompanied minors. Yes, I am considering, in order to deter more movement along this terribly dangerous network, I am considering exactly that. They will be well cared for as we deal with their parents.
But you understand how that looks to the average person who is,
It's more important to me, Wolf, to try to keep people off of this awful network.
Thousands of people fleeing violence in South American countries make the dangerous journey via Mexico to seek safety in the US. The new policy would see children taken into state care while their parents are detained, while the courts decide whether they're deported.
Anne Barker reporting.